All right, so here's the deal. If your YouTube videos are not getting the clicks and they're not getting the views that you are expecting, it's probably because you don't have a thumbnail that is causing people to want to click on your video. So in this video, I'm going to go over just 3 simple things to think about and to keep in mind when you're crafting or designing your thumbnails. This is going to be a really easy and short video, but these are tips that you can take and apply to every thumbnail that you create for your channel, and they will help you stand out and also get the extra views and the clicks that you're wanting. So the 3 things that you're going to want to include or to have in your mind when you're designing your thumbnail are the emotion, the clarity, and the contrast. These are key in developing a thumbnail that will stand out and actually cause someone to want to click on it. So first, let's talk about emotion. And emotion obviously can be portrayed in a number of different things. Facial expressions are kind of the main way of doing that. If you've looked through YouTube before, you've seen a ton of thumbnails with people's faces on it, doing emotions and making faces about what they're maybe talking about. Sometimes this can be overdone and can be kind of clickbaity, if you will, but at the same time, the reactions, the people on screen make the viewer feel something. They're able to relate to that emotion, or may cause some sort of curiosity for what is that person, what is the experience, what are they reacting to. So having someone's face on screen is a great way, and having some expression on their face, or if it's you on the thumbnail, having some sort of expression to cause interest is a good thing to have on your thumbnails, especially if you're trying to build a brand or a business around who you are and what you do, and you want to have your likeness in the thumbnail, because then that causes the viewer to have some form of relatability, and then they just become used to seeing your face and they know who you are, and it stands out automatically. If you think about some of the YouTubers or some of the content creators or the business people that create content or videos on YouTube that you follow, once you get to know them, you subscribe to them, you watch the videos, seeing their face on a thumbnail will almost instantly grab your attention, because it's already something that you paid attention to. It's already something that you're watching. You're a part of that audience. So if you put yourself in that position and you put yourself on the thumbnail, it allows your audience to build kind of this rapport with you, or this trust in you, because they know who you are as a creator, as a business person, as a freelancer, entrepreneur, whatever. They can get that feeling from you. So that's the first thing you got to do, is put some sort of emotion into the thumbnail. Most of the time that's going to be you or someone's face or something like that. It can be other objects, other ways of conveying that emotion, but that's the first key, is adding some emotion into your thumbnail. So the second thing you're going to want to do is think about the clarity. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that people do when they're making thumbnails for their videos is they are too cluttered. There's too much complexity to that. They might have a bunch of stuff in the background. Maybe their background in the photo is really busy and it causes kind of chaos for the words that they're trying to put on, or they're adding too much graphics or elements into the thumbnail. You need to have one focal point, so one area where everybody is looking and it's drawing their eye to, and then no clutter and no tiny text. That's another thing. If you are editing your thumbnail, zoom out so that it's really small on your screen and see if your text pops. If it's something you can read when it's a small thumbnail like it would be on your phone, then it's a good size. If it has to be too small because you have so much text on the screen, it's too much. It's gonna be too complex. You only really have 1 second before people are gonna move on to the next video. If they're scrolling and they see your thumbnail, you have 1 second, maybe even less. So having a lot of text, or text that's too small, is just not gonna work. You wanna have that one focal point with that emotion and not a lot of clutter. So that's the second point. It's really simple. It just means bring back the clarity, make sure that it's clear. You know exactly what's going on, you know exactly what text you want to have there, and it's not like overly done. So you want the clarity. That's step number 2. And finally, step number 3 is to have contrast. We want to make your subject stand out. So you can have high contrast colors, you can have simple backgrounds. There's a number of ways of doing this with design, and that's maybe for another video, but you want to be able to make your subject stand out. In my thumbnails, I try to make myself stand out and the text stand out from the background by using kind of a darker background and making other things pop. So you're using lighter colors. So if you have a dark background, you want to use white text or something that's light in color and pops off that background. You don't want to use a white background or a light gray background and then white text where it's, you know, barely visible. There's just not enough contrast there for the eye. So as someone's scrolling or looking on their desktop, it's not popping out enough. So you want to make sure you have that contrast in there to help make things pop and just visually, subconsciously have the viewer see and want to take a longer look at your thumbnail. So those are just 3 simple techniques to use on your thumbnails and help you kind of get a better thumbnail to have more clarity, have more, understanding of what the subject is, and also add that emotion in there so that you can really maybe cause people to be curious about what your thumbnail is. I wanted to take a look real fast before we end this video at some great thumbnails and kind of look at what you can expect from that. So I'm just going to look at one creator, Ali Abdaal. If you've ever seen any of his videos, you've seen his thumbnails, you know they're very high quality. So right here, I'm just looking at this one. This is at the moment, this was 5 days ago. It's one of his newest videos. This thumbnail is great because it's very clear. All right, so there's definite subjects. There's him, he's drinking a cup. He has that whole kind of UI pop-up bubble, if you will, user interface type thing where it says you don't have to quit. Okay, first of all, the contrast is good. You have black text with the yellow highlight on white background, right? So that text pops, and if you zoom out and you make it smaller, it looks great. You also have him, you have his emotions, you have him taking a drink. It's curious. It's one, he's super nonchalant. So you're thinking to yourself, all right, what do you mean you don't have to quit? Like, what does it look like? You can obviously, the title itself is, if you hate your job, please watch this. That's the title. So this whole set of thumbnail and title makes you curious. You want to know more. You want to know what does this mean? I want to find out a little bit more. But the thumbnail itself is very simple. It's a photo of him taking a drink. Obviously, it has a little bit of editing, and then just like a little UI blurb that looks like it was a tweet or something. And that's a really simple way of doing it. The previous video is him kind of right here. He's laying back on a couch or a bed or something, and kind of like, I don't know, frustrated looking. So his emotions there, you feel that frustration. In his notes app, it says, you know, what should I do? ? The title itself of the video, why you feel lost, and then parentheses, and what to do about it. So both, again, the title and the thumbnail there work to cause curiosity in the viewer. But specifically in the thumbnail, it's a really simple thumbnail that just has the contrast of the black text on the white background. And you see the emotion from Ali himself on the screen. Those are just 2 really good examples. If you look at it, you can go through all his videos. A lot of them are very, very well crafted. And again, this is from someone who has millions of subscribers and has a ton of video views every single time. So a little bit of that success is going to be based on the fact that people know who Ali is. Like him being on the screen here, him being on the thumbnail is a big deal because his brand is his personality, who he is, and he's built that brand and that business off that. So seeing him on there is going to be a good thing for you to do as yourself as you build your own brand. But I just wanted to take a look at those 2 examples really quick to show you what is good and what looks good and how to do something like that. Stick around. In the next video, I'm actually going to walk through and kind of replicate these 2 thumbnails that I just talked about. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to create those and go step by step, and you're just going to follow along, and maybe you'll learn something. Maybe it'll be some way of you seeing how they might process those thumbnails, and you can take those and use those on your own videos as well. So stick around for that video, subscribe, or click here if it's already up in a couple days. You can click right here and watch that video. And until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next video.